Hello everyone, welcome to 12am Coding. And today we are going to discuss about a new topic in our Spring Boot series, which is CRUD operations. So actually this CRUD operation is not a Spring Boot topic. It's a very generic topic in RESTful APIs. And exactly this is the thing what we will be doing at end of the day when we are working on server side programming. Okay. So what does it means is like if you see in the entire world, I'm not talking about programming also. We are only doing these CRUD operations only. Either we are creating something or we are reading something, we are updating something or deleting something. And same in our programming also we do these things. Okay. At the end of the day, any application, it can create or you can read some data or you can update or delete. So as we have already discussed about the architecture, which is client and server, okay, and client will be requesting some data from the server, okay, and server will be responding, okay. Now this request can be of these four things at the end of the day: request to create some data, request to read some data or update some data or delete some data, and based on these operations only your server will be responding to you, okay. So in the Spring Boot also, to create a RESTful API, we will be doing these four things only at the end, okay. So we will be reading about these things and how we can create these particular concepts in API. Okay, so let me go to my IntelliJ. So if you see in our last tutorial, what we have done, we have created this fruit class. Okay, this fruit class is a simple class in which we are having three variables, which is ID, name, and price. We have created one constructor and we are having some getters and setters. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create APIs and I'm going to create the APIs for these four operations. And exactly like the APIs will do this thing only at the end of the day. Okay, so in this fruits list, we are having these three fruits. I just hard coded these. We are having a list of three fruits. Like this is the ID, this is name, and this is price. Okay, now the first operation which we will be going to do will be read, actually read operation. Okay, in this read operation, I'll be using get mapping. Get mapping means we are getting something, means we are reading something. Okay, simple. And in this get mapping, I'll be creating one method, okay, which will be type of list of fruits actually. Okay, list of fruit and then get fruits, and we will be getting some fruits, whatever fruits we are having. Okay, we'll be getting these fruits, simple. So if my API will be calling to the fruits controller, then it will be coming here and it will be seeing if some get mapping is there, if I'll be calling get method. Okay, and then this will return. Okay, now second API what I'm going to create, I think this makes sense, right? It's a simple API, we are just returning these fruits. This is the read operation, right? We are reading the data. Second operation what I'm going to do is I'm creating a post mapping. So these are standards actually. People have created these annotations to standardize the things, that whenever you want to add something, create something. Okay, so our second API will be create. Okay, in this create we can use post mapping actually. Okay, and there are some benefits also, we will be discussing about those things later. Okay, then in the post mapping what I'm going to do, I'm going to return a string, simple, and then add fruit. Okay, I'll be going to add the fruit and then I'll be taking request body. Okay, this request body will be taking, in this request body will be taking our fruit. Okay, and this fruit will be taking, and then uh, 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 okay, request body, not response body, and here we will be doing fruits dot add operation in the list we are having, and you need to add your fruit here. Okay, and then we can return fruit added. Which fruit added? Fruit dot get name, like this fruit you have added successfully. Okay, now third operation what we can do is a delete, or and like I think you are aware about it, in our last tutorials we have discussed all these annotations. Request body, whenever user will send into JSON some request, your Spring Boot will be converting it into Java object using this particular annotation. We need this. Okay. Now the delete operation, what will be our delete operation? Okay. This delete operation will be at the rate delete mapping is there for that, simple. And then public, then we'll be again returning a string and delete fruit. Okay. And right now we'll be taking a path variable actually. Okay. This path variable while be taking, we will be taking a id. Okay. So int id will be taking from the user which id you want to delete, and then from this hard coded fruits list, as we are not using any database or something, so we just using this particular list. From this fruit list we'll be removing, okay, if your fruit, your id is equals to fruit dot id. Okay, fruit dot get id. Okay, so this id we are having, or we can mark it as equals to. Okay, and then we'll be returning uh, fruit deleted. And which fruit is deleted? With id. Okay, id will be your id. With this id the fruit got deleted. And the third operation, oh sorry, fourth operation will be your put mapping. Okay, create read cru update operation. Okay, and for that we are having a notation which is put mapping. So when you want to update something, we can use put annotation. Public, then it will be returning you the fruit, let's say. Okay, and then it will be returning you the string only with the update fruit. Okay, and this will be also taking one path variable. Okay, path variable which will be your id, which id the fruit of id will be needing. Okay, and then it will be taking the request body. Okay, and the request body will be your fruit. Okay, so it's a simple thing, right? That which id we want to update and with what fruit we want to update. So we are taking id in path variable, and the request body we are taking it as fruit. So we can run a loop. So I am having this simple code. Let me copy it for now and paste it here. So what it is doing simply, we are having, let's say, let me name it as different update fruit. Let me name this variable so that it will not be conflicting. So what this is doing simply, we are running a loop for all these fruits, and whenever we are getting this particular id, for that particular id we are setting the name and price what we are getting from the request, and then we are returning fruit id is updated. If it doesn't found, it will come out of the loop, and here we are printing fruit id not found. Okay, simple. So these four operations we are having. Now let us see how these operations will work. Let me run our service. Okay, so I'll be using Insomnia because like from browser you cannot update and add the data. Okay, so I'm using Insomnia. It's just simply, it's a client actually. You can think about it as a browser as a client. Same way this is a client. You can hit the API through it. So first we'll be doing a get mapping. Get will be first we'll be using the get mapping and seeing how are all the fruits we can get. Okay, so my service is running on 8090 port. I am using this fruits endpoint. So if you see, I'm not defining any internal path. So whenever it will come here, it will only found one get, one post, one delete, and one put. So with this, for the same path we can have multiple types of operations. Okay, with the annotation. So we have defined four operations. Now let me hit this. So if you see, we got all our three fruits in the JSON array, which is apple, banana, orange. Okay, if you see, we got all the three fruits. Now let's say I want to add some fruit. So what I need to do, I need to pass a body here. Okay, and I need to change the method to post. So I'll be adding, let's say, fourth number id, and I'll be adding, okay, dragon fruit with the price, let's say 120 rupees. Okay, now I'll be hitting the post API. So see, fruit added, dragon fruit. Now let me again call the get and see if are this particular fruit got added. So I have explained you, right, as we are using the request body here, so automatically this JSON Spring Boot will convert it into a object. Okay, so I'm getting all the fruits. We should get four fruits now. So earlier we was having three fruits, now we added one fruit. Okay, now let's test our third API, which is delete mapping in our CRUD operation. So I'll be providing it need a path variable, right? ID. So let's say I want to delete the first fruit. Okay. So here I need to make it as delete operation. Okay. So let me send it. Okay. Okay. I need to provide actually here the ID. So if you guys remember, we forgot to add the ID here. Okay. In the path variable case, input also we need this particular ID. I hope you remember from our last tutorial, we need this. I forgot to mention, so it is giving the error. So let me run it again. Okay. So for first, let me again get all the fruits. Okay. So we got the fruit. Let me add one more fruit. Okay. With the four dragon fruit 120, it got added. Let me again call a get. So we get all the four fruits. Now let me delete our first fruit. Okay. So delete I will do, and here I'll send it. So fruit one got deleted. Now let me again get all the fruits. So it should delete the first fruit and it should give me only 2, 3 and 4 fruit. Okay. So simply this is the delete mapping. Now we will be using the put mapping. So put mapping, what does it need? It need a ID of the fruit which need to be updated. So let's say I want to update the second fruit. Banana price I need to update. Okay. So here I'll be passing ID 2, okay, which doesn't make any sense actually because we are taking the ID here. Okay, so I'll be passing ID and here I'll pass the name. Okay, same name, and I want to update this 50 to 60. Let's say price got increased. So we are using this banana with the price 60 for the ID 2. So let me call this put mapping here. So see, fruit with ID 2 updated. Now let me get all the fruits and we should be having all the fruits now with the updated. So if you see, our banana got updated. Okay, so these are basically our four operations which are CRUD operation, and there is one more type of API which is patch. We will be discussing about this patch in later tutorial, and these two more we are having. So later we'll be discussing more detail about these things. But basically, as I told, everything will be revolving around these four things: get, post, put, and delete, which is the CRUD operation. Okay, so I hope this is making sense to you. And as we are moving forward, we are learning the Spring Boot concepts very good way. So yes, guys, thank you and see you in the next tutorial. Okay, and before that, please don't forget to like the videos, and you can share it with your friends if you find it helpful, and subscribe the channel. Thank you.